Why silence online makes you psychologically stronger. The pressure to broadcast our existence has become so normalized that choosing to stay invisible feels like a quiet act of rebellion. People might assume you are antisocial, overly private, or even insecure, but the reality behind your digital silence is actually much more fascinating. There is a beautiful, hidden psychological mechanism behind why you choose to live your moments instead of managing them, and understanding it will change how you look at your own peace. You are not avoiding social media because you are out of touch or judgmental. Rather, your brain naturally prioritizes the immediate, physical reality in front of you over a virtual audience. Psychologically, this stems from a deeply rooted preference for internal satisfaction over external validation, meaning your emotional cup gets filled by the actual experience itself, rather than the digital applause that might follow it. This quiet self-sufficiency is often referred to as having an internal locus of control, your inner anchor of self-worth, where your sense of value is generated from within, rather than the shifting opinions of an online crowd. But there is a hidden neurological benefit to this digital silence that most people completely overlook, and it explains why your empty profile makes you so incredibly peaceful. When you choose not to post, you are actively opting out of the dopamine-driven feedback loops that modern platforms are engineered to exploit. For example, when you go on a beautiful hike and keep the view to yourself, your brain processes the joy of that moment as a complete, self-contained reward, rather than an unfinished transaction waiting for likes. Your brain is essentially saving its energy by refusing to split its attention between enjoying the hike and calculating how that hike will look on a screen. Yet, this peaceful boundary often creates a strange paradox, because in a world where everyone is constantly selling themselves, your refusal to participate looks less like peace and more like a calculated secret that others are desperate to uncover. Consider what happens when someone suddenly stops posting altogether, a phenomenon that researchers studying online behavior notice when people transition from high sharing to complete digital invisibility. When a person decides to quietly step away from sharing, their friends often assume there is a crisis, a breakup, or a secret struggle, because our modern social fabric associates visibility with well-being. In reality, these individuals are practicing a form of selective vulnerability, choosing to share their deepest thoughts and life updates exclusively with a small, trusted circle in real life. This selective sharing actually alters the chemistry of your relationships in a way that seems completely counterintuitive to the logic of the internet. By keeping your life offline, you force your real-world connections to rely on active, intentional communication, like a warm phone call or a face-to-face dinner, to find out how you are actually doing. This protects you from the exhausting phenomenon of passive consumption, ambient awareness, where people feel like they know you because they see your stories, even though they haven't spoken to you in years. Your lack of an online presence acts as a natural filter, keeping superficial acquaintances at a distance while deepening the bonds with people who are willing to put in the effort to ask you directly. But this leads us to the most surprising truth of all, because your silence isn't just protecting your relationships, it is quietly reshaping your entire sense of identity in a way that most people will never get to experience because they are too busy broadcasting it. What almost nobody realizes is that by refusing to curate your life for an audience, you are preserving the sacred, unedited version of yourself that cannot be commodified or judged by strangers. This digital absence is not a sign of being boring, antisocial, or out of touch. It is a profound sign of emotional maturity and self-possession, proving that you do not need a digital record to validate that your life was beautiful and real. You are allowed to let your memories exist solely in your mind and in the hearts of the people who were actually there to share them with you, free from the pressure of performance. Because at the end of the day, the moments that shape us the deepest are often the ones we never felt the need to prove to the world, leaving us with a quiet, unshakable sense of peace that no amount of likes could ever replace. If you are the person whose phone stays in your pocket when the world is performing, remember that your silence is your sanctuary. How do you balance the pressure to be seen with your natural desire to just exist in the moment?